Well, hey fans, welcome back to another movie review, and today we're going to talk about Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. So Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 is an animated superhero film directed by Jeff Wamester based on the comic book event of the same name. It follows the Flash as he travels the multiverse, going through key moments of his life, and eventually he is gathered to form this team that is meant to save the multiverse. And of course, I'd like to thank Warner Bros. For sending me a copy of the film to watch. Thank you very much. Now, this already happened like a couple years ago in the Arrowverse, and they're doing it again in the animated films to make way for James Gunn's new DCU, which will be both animated and live action. So he wants to wipe all of that clean. And just give you a little perspective of how I feel about these movies. I've been a fan of DC's animated movies for a long time. They've always been way better than what Marvel has released. You know, Marvel had Thor, Tales of Asgard, Hulk versus Avengers Assembled. Those movies are fine. But when you have all of the DC movies, you got Flashpoint Paradox, Son of Batman, Batman versus Robin, Under the Red Hood, and all of these films, they are way better by comparison. And I think that it has always been DC's strong suit to make these animated films. And they've made really good live action films as well. But their strong suit has always been their animation department. But like I said, I've been a fan of these movies for a long time. And I remember seeing Batman Under the Red Hood and just thinking, wow, this is an amazing movie. And that universe culminated with Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox, which is probably the best animated DC comic book movie of all time. I would put that up there in my top 5 of animated comic book films. It is just a truly amazing story, and I was so happy that when they were going to eventually make the Flash movie, The Flashpoint, that they might just adapt that and just make it live action. Of course, they didn't when they should have, but that was great. So the key plot in that movie was that the Flash went back in time to save his mom, created this alternate universe with the coolest Batman ever, and realizing that he shouldn't have done that, goes back, stops himself, and this creates a brand new universe. So those movies continue all the way up until Justice League Apocalypse War, and in that movie, Darkseid basically wins, the Earth is ravaged, and Constantine realizes that this is the Flash's fault because he went back and changed time and tried to fix it, but it still didn't fix everything, so he tells the Flash to do it again. So the Flash runs back in time again and changes something, which creates the Tomorrowverse, which is this new verse. And once I saw the trailer for Superman Man of Tomorrow, which was the first film of the Tomorrowverse, I saw the animation and I just said, you know what? This is not for me. I'm going to stop at Apocalypse War. And I didn't watch any of these movies. I pretty much watched every movie beforehand, but once we got to the Tomorrowverse, I was out. I was like, they've reset time twice with the Flash. I don't think I want to go through this again. And of course, now they're going to reset it again. So going into this movie, I had low hopes, and it met those low hopes. That's all I'm going to say. So the Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline, like I said, has been done before, and this movie does feel like it is all set up. It is basically just the Flash going through key points of his life. It is him hanging out with Iris, their wedding day, him getting his abilities, him forming the Justice League with Batman, Superman, Vixen, and all of those. And of course, meeting the Monitor and forming this multiversal team to stop all of the Infinite Earths from being destroyed. That's basically it. There's not a lot. The most interesting thing in this movie to me is the version of Constantine who is here. We don't know a lot about him. We just know that he knows what's going on, and he's sending the Flash on all of these time field trips. That's a good way to put it. And we don't know, is this Constantine the same Constantine that has been there before in every other continuity? And he's just, somehow being reborn and keeping his memories? That's what I like to think, and we will find out by the end if that is true. But he was the most interesting aspect of this film, and I don't feel like he got as much due as I wanted him to. And going back to what I said earlier when I saw the animation style, I was out. I still don't really like this Tomorrowverse animation style. It seems too comic booky to me. I don't know, the characters seem too blocky. It is not my favorite. The original animation style that they were doing with the DCAU was my favorite, and the universe that came after. This one, I know they just really wanted to set it apart so that the audience knows, hey, this is a brand new universe he's gonna look a little different. So I'm like, I don't feel like they really had to do that. We can understand without changing the animation style, or if they were gonna change the animation style, make it something a little more like anime-like, I guess. Just this animation style, it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me, and that's fine. But there are some other things that I did like as well. I did like the Batman meeting the older Robin. That was a fun scene because the Batman that appears on the station, the multiversal team or whatever, he never had a Robin. So when he meets his Robin, he talks to him, and Robin's like, you raised me, I became your partner, we fought crime, you helped me get over, all the things in my life. And Batman's like, that sounds irresponsible. That made me laugh out loud because, of course, in a lot of the movies, Batman never has a Robin. So, of course, this Batman who never got a Robin would think, yeah, why would you bring a child with you to fight crime? That doesn't make any sense. So I really enjoyed that scene. He also met a version of his daughter. And what was great about that is he immediately knew, he's like, your mom's Catwoman, isn't it? So, because this Batman also had a thing with Catwoman. Now, he doesn't get to meet a Damian Wayne, but they'll probably come later, Another thing I did like, there is a twist ending to this film. And not really a twist as much as a cliffhanger. Of course, there's going to be 2 more sections. There's Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2 and Part 3 that'll all come out this year, which I think, while I do wish I got the complete story now, it is a good thing that they're releasing them all this year and they're not getting pushed until like 2025 and 2026 or something like that. This is just a straight to VOD animated film after all. And this is probably something, I was about to say it could be pushed into theaters, but no, I don't know if this film is of that good of a quality. And maybe by the 3rd one I'll think otherwise, but yeah, I don't know if it should go to theaters. It should stay on VOD. But as part 1 of the culmination of all these animated films, I did feel some kind of nostalgia, which is why, I was eager to watch it. But sitting there while watching the film, all that nostalgia just kind of washed away because I wasn't super interested in the story. And it's not because we've seen it before or I didn't like the animation. It just seemed like all set up and not really super interesting. Like I said, there's those little moments here and there, but overall, it's not the best. And I would say, yeah, skip this, but it's 3 parts. So I'll have to wait till I get to the 3rd part to tell you if you skip this whole thing. But if you like the DCAU, if you liked all those animated movies that came before, you want some closure, this is probably a good film to watch. So in terms of a score, I'll give it a solid 5 out of 10. Like I said, it's all right, and we'll see where parts 2 and 3 go. So I thank you guys again for joining me for this movie review. You can watch the full review on YouTube and the website, flipfrogllc.com/flixfrog. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.